This podcast contains explicit language.
And spoilers. Only if you suck.
Two Fat Guys Talk Games and Other Things. Episode 52?
Righto.
Jolly good.
Yes, indeed.
This is Dave.
And I am your other co-host, Carlos Alejandro. And this is Two Fat Guys Talk Games, episode 52. Joining me as always is my compatriot, Devaniel Hachman. I'm calling him Devaniel because it tickles me to do so.
Why, I don't know, but sure.
Well, I was thinking of long-form names I could call you, and really I'm like, what's the long form of Dave? David. Could we extend that to Davidson? No, that's gay. So it was a cross between Devaniel and Dave Imothy or some shit like that.
Yes, shit is right.
I like Devaniel because it gives you an aura of nobility that, let's face it, you just don't have in real life and probably never will because
Don't make me take you out like Goliath.
What? Are you saying that you took out Goliath?
I
That
could.
you are why Gargoyles got cancelled?
That'd be a crime.
Or are you insinuating that it's the daytime, I'm stone, and you will just break the shit out of me?
You're an idiot.
I don't get what you're talking about. Why are you talking about Goliath? Like, what do you got against his character? It's a great character.
Oh.
He ended up owning Elisa Maza. Like, good job, bro. You're
never
an inspiration.
proven.
You're an inspiration to gargoyles everywhere that they too can hook up with some pussy of indecipherable racial origin. Really, what was she? Was she Spanish? Was she Asian?
Mexican, I thought.
She Mexican? Did
Her...
Goliath get some Mexican tail?
Well, seeing as her dad was chosen by Coyote, the Coyote God, in season 2 or 3.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm talking in what...
Wait, why am I asking you that? Gargoyles got weird.
It did. No, literally, her dad was chosen by, like, the Coyote God as a kid, and they had a whole episode based around them helping him out.
Is that before or after Goliath, Elisa, and Goliath's daughter, who we didn't know about, were taking a raft across the world?
During,
okay.
What I like to refer to as the Smurfs season.
The Smurfs season? Are you talking about that one weird arc with the time-traveling castle? That castle was a dick. It kept mocking them.
Or we could even go as far as saying the Scooby-Doo bad seasons, where they couldn't get back home.
You mean the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo?
There we go.
The 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo is the ghettoest Scooby-Doo series ever made.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the
Only
end of
slightly better than the movies.
Are you still wanting to watch Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc., or can I spoil it for you?
You can spoil it, because everything good is in the episode, so you spoiling something isn't going to make me not want to watch it.
So the final villain was ultimately Cthulhu.
Cool.
And in order to solve the problem of Cthulhu existing, they literally had to rewrite history to write him out of it.
Okay.
And only they remembered.
Okay.
And it was
that
actually...
show didn't continue, did it?
Despite what I just told you, it was a very unsatisfying conclusion. You would think, holy fuck, the Mystery Gang has to fight Cthulhu? And you'd think, awesome?
No.
It was significantly less awesome than I made
Did
it sound.
That show last one season and then get canceled?
It was a self-contained season, let's be honest, because getting canceled doesn't mean... Like, a show can still be a self-contained unit in one season. Look at the Green Lantern animated series, which I strongly recommend everybody watch, despite its second season getting canned. The first season is a complete whole and does not end in a cliffhanger. It does end in a way that could continue or could not. So,
yeah.
It's a good show. So right now we are well into our Two Fat Guys Talk Things Other Than Games segment. Because it's fine. We can continue talking about random fucking cartoons. I'm okay with that. So if there,
I think we really need to change the podcast to Two Fat Guys Talk.
Just Two Fat Guys Talk. Yeah, you were talking about that before. I'm okay with it. I'm also okay with it staying game-centered, and we just have a segment in it, and maybe occasionally this segment will make up the majority of the show, where it's just not game talk.
I mean, there's really not too much happening. We're in the summer of games.
Well, okay, you always say there's not too much happening. There's lots happening. It's just shit neither of us give a shit about.
Oh, fair.
And okay, we're not
journalists.
We're not gaming journalists, thankfully, first of all. And secondly, so we're not going to cover every damn topic. We're going to cover shit that we think is cool. So that means we're not always going to talk... Cool. We're not always going to talk about the thing you want, although if you want us to talk about something you want, leave us a comment, tfgtg.blogspot.com, and we will try to cover everything. Speaking of shit that isn't games, so if Cartoon All-Stars Fight Drugs was made today, who would be in it, and what would be the drug?
The drug would be terrorism.
Uh-huh. So are you saying the Cartoon All-Stars are going to save a kid from a jihadist sympathizer training camp in Missouri?
Probably.
Okay, who are the Cartoon All-Stars involved?
Are we talking some sort of miraculous thing like what happened with Cartoon All-Stars?
Yeah, some crossover of what was popular at the time.
Then you'd have Spider-Man.
Spider-Man? Which Spider-Man?
Probably the newest one.
Okay, that is the biggest cop-out in the world. You need to give me a specific Spider-Man.
I haven't watched any of the cartoons recently.
What about the Latino Spider-Man from Ultimate Spider-Man?
I'm not talking comics, I'm talking cartoons.
Okay, right now the Spider-Man show that they have right now is called Ultimate Spider-Man. It has nothing to do with the comic, and it's really bad. It's like, I always talk about how Teen Titans was all filler, except for the parts that wasn't, and those parts were good. Ultimate Spider-Man is all filler, all the time, unapologetically, and it's dumb.
Okay, so
the one before that was the good one, Spectacular Spider-Man.
Let's talk Spectacular Spider-Man then.
Sure.
That one, probably the Avengers from the cartoon movies.
Okay. Cartoon Avengers.
Superman, Batman from, again, the DC
Wow,
universe.
You really want to annihilate these Al-Qaeda terrorists, don't you?
They'll just throw magic or some sort of depowering thing in.
Let's make it clear. Originally, the villain was some drug dealer and drugs themselves, and the forces allied against him included the likes of Alvin, his brothers, the Muppet Babies, and I think the only true superhero in the bunch, Michelangelo, aka the worst Ninja Turtle. And here you are, it's like, okay, we need Spider-Man,
no,
the Avengers,
I'm not saying
Superman, Goku, ow, my pinky.
They would grab whoever they could from what's on TV.
Imagine they grab Goku. It's like, drugs aren't cool. You know what is cool? Kamehameha! And then he starts blasting the shit out of some fucking drug dealers or Al-Qaeda terrorists.
I mean, that was a miracle at the time of how many licenses they managed to get together to do that cartoon. And there's not...
We have a fairly recent example of this, although it's very subtle, and that's in the Lego movie, when despite having Warner Brothers characters, they also managed to get Disney to give up having a Star Wars cameo in it.
That is true.
That is just about as Marvel meets DC as you're going to get in the next few years.
Yeah. No, actually, you're right. Lego is your best example, and frankly, we had a lot of characters show up in the Lego movie.
Yeah.
I mean...
every member of the Justice League.
Yep.
Star Wars characters. Mm-hmm. Actually, who else did show up? Now I'm having a hard time thinking of them. Were there, like, Bugs Bunny or other Warner Brothers type cartoons guys in there? I don't think there was.
No, neither do I.
Yeah, me neither. So, okay, so far... You have given these...
In fact, I don't think that Looney Tunes has a Lego set at all.
Okay, so far you have given the Al-Qaeda training camp reason to shit their pants, because now you've put up, like, the world's most dangerous superhero teams against them. Can we give them an edge of some kind?
Lex Luthor.
You could write a scenario where Lex Luthor is using Al-Qaeda sympathizers to train kids and somehow be like... Well, what gain does he get from it? Shut up, that's why.
Or,
I'm okay with that.
What's his name?
Atomic Skull. Atomic Skull, no, Carlos?
No, one of the DC Universe movies where that guy who's lived for almost forever, something Savage?
Yeah. If Kiki was here, you know what she calls that guy all the time? Randall Savage.
Okay, here we go. Randall Savage
Which
and
I like
Lex
to-
Luthor.
So the Macho Man Randy Savage and Lex Luthor are going to. It's Vandal Savage, but I like Randy Savage better. Okay, so here's what we got so far. Randy Savage has descended from heaven, having taken it over, teamed up with Lex Luthor, and through magically enchanted Slim Jims, given the Al-Qaeda sympathizers superpowers, which they are using to recruit a young kid disenfranchised from home, and it is up to the Cartoon All-Stars to stop this. So far, the Cartoon All-Stars consist of Spider-Man, the Avengers, and the Justice League. Now, even though the deck is already stacked against Al-Qaeda, we need a few more cartoons in there.
I'm trying to think what cartoons are out. Oh, SpongeBob.
Of course! You gotta have SpongeBob, and since SpongeBob's there, we have to include David Hasselhoff.
Why?
Well, David Hasselhoff did appear in the SpongeBob movie, at least according to the trailers. I never actually saw the movie. The trailers had him in it, though. I really didn't. I don't know what happens in it. I just know that the trailer has David Hasselhoff in it. Plus, David Hasselhoff means this shit sells in Germany.
Okay. Do we bring in the Nazis? Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. We do need someone on Al-Qaeda's side. The Nazis are perfect. And the Red Skull.
Except this PSA would never be allowed to be shown in Germany.
No, shut the fuck up. Okay, so the Reds... All right. No, that's okay. That's okay, because Dave, I don't know if you know this or not, we're retarded and this is never going to get made, so that's okay. So the Nazis, led by the Red Skull, okay, teamed up with Al-Qaeda sympathizers. Getting help by
Lex
Luthor and a descended demonic Randy Savage from heaven, who is also being helped by Chris Benoit, because Chris Benoit is a monster, are trying to recruit a boy that the Cartoon All-Stars need to help. Cartoon All-Stars are Spider-Man, Avengers, the Justice League,
SpongeBob, Dora,
SquarePants, Dora the Explorer, Diego. We have to have Diego if Dora's there.
Okay.
Diego is basically male Dora.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he explores.
The Avatar characters.
Yeah, we gotta have Korra.
We gotta have Nickelodeon in there.
Gotta have Nickelodeon. We already have SpongeBob to represent them, but Korra can be in there too. So Korra. I was about to call her Legend of Korra.
Or because they wouldn't grab Aang or Korra, we could throw in Sokka.
We can throw in Sokka. I'm okay with Sokka. I'm okay with Korra and Sokka being our representatives, as long as he gets Space Sword back and has Boomerang again. Because we've really stacked, like, we're getting a decent amount of people here. Should we throw Goku in there?
I don't think really any anime would make it in. But you know who would make it in? What was that Lego weird shit that they made the cartoons around? Beast Guys. We were always making fun of it because they were doing more of those shows rather than the DC Universe.
GoBots?
No, not GoBots.
Teen Titans?
No, it was...
Oh, you mean the Lion?
Yes.
Yeah, and they had the commercials for
Yes.
DC shows. No, we're not putting him in there, Dave.
They'd make it in there.
Dave, don't be silly.
Put him in Al-Qaeda's side.
You're having a rational conversation here about this. And you want to mess it up with some Lego fucking lions?
It wasn't Lego. Well, no, actually, it wasn't.
I think they were Lego. I think it was actually official Lego licensed brand.
Yeah, it was.
Are you sure we can't throw Goku in there? Because if we throw Goku in there, we can put Perfect Cell or Frieza on the other side.
No, we shouldn't. No.
No, we can't throw Ryuko in there.
No.
And then Ragyo is helping the Nazis!
Oh, my head.
Plus, if we put Ryuko in there, this really isn't airing. Because if Ryuko is in there, and fucking Trigger has any say, all these characters are going to be buck naked before this thing is done.
Yeah.
And I don't need to see Superman's junk. Sorry, I'm sure it's spectacular, but I don't need to see it. Okay, so far we have a pretty formidable fight. Okay, so how does this start? We're introduced to this kid, and maybe he's talking to, like, maybe he's an outcast from school, and some other kid who turns out is, like, some supervillain in disguise, maybe Mystique, approaches him and says, have you ever wondered if capitalism and the American dream has failed you?
Why don't you just give the kids superpowers that are starting to come to the front, and whether he's going to choose good or evil?
Yeah, but the thing is, since there's magical Slim Jim that is going to give him powers, maybe he consumes it, and then eventually, because he realizes that Randy Savage is evil, he ends up helping the Cartoon All-Stars.
God, this is stupid.
So, speak for yourself. I'm liking where this is going. So
this is like the ghettoest fucking fanfic ever.
If Ghetto, have you listened to what we've come up with? Well, there are going to be people listening to this at fucking Warner Brothers going, make this shit happen. Gary, listen to this podcast and don't even call me back until this can happen. And then they're like, how the hell did you get this number? And then I'll yell into the phone, shut up! So, okay. So, I like your idea about him eating the Slim Jim and getting powers. I also like your idea about Goku being in there. So, what happens... So okay. So, the kid's being taken, okay? And this attracts the attention of Martian Manhunter, who is also in the school in
Who
disguise.
is the teacher?
Yeah, he's the teacher. Good call. So, that's when he calls the Justice League, okay? Who are having dinner with the Avengers at the time. And they discuss, the goings-on.
How does Thanos fit into all this?
Hang on, we're getting to Thanos. We're getting to the gauntlet. This is a big key in our new Cartoon All-Stars movement. So, this kid is like by the beach because he's thinking about using his newfound powers in the name of Allah. And then SpongeBob comes from the sea and is like, hey, buddy, you really don't want to help them, do you? They don't believe in women's rights, or something like that, right? And then the kid's like, no, that's not all. There are moderates. And he's like, are you trying to be a moderate? And that's when there's doubt sowed, so that the kid can go and help the giant battle that's taking place in the city behind them. And I think it's about at this point that Jimmy Two Shoes enters the picture and delivers the wackiest sidekick ever to the side of Baron Mordo or someone.
Where's the Burt's Bees guy?
Burt's Bees, I'm not sure there's a cartoon on the box for Burt's Bees. Does the guy himself appear? I know he'll take the money, but does he make sense to be in Cartoon All-Stars? Then again, Teletoon and even the Cartoon Network in the States show tons and tons of live-action things. Live action, last anybody remembers, is not animation, but whatever. So far, we have made the best children's special ever. If anybody wants to make this happen, let us know. Because despite Dave looking at me like I'm the stupidest person in the world, we're both in. You're right, we should make it Two Fat Guys Talk, because I like going off the rails like that. It's fun.
I don't believe we came up with that, just on a whim.
Yeah, on a whim. Dave, what the hell you been playing?
Been putting a whole bunch of time into a combination of Atelier Rorona.
I can't believe you almost got that right. Good work.
I did. Atelier Rorona. That's a title.
You know what? You're right. I'm being a dick.
Like usual.
Yeah. Oh God, am I a part of Macho Man's new Al Qaeda Slim Jim network?
No.
No. I wouldn't do that. Even though Chris Benoit's from Edmonton, I wouldn't help him out. He was a monster.
I've been playing that. Well, I've now finished the Dishonored DLC.
The Cthulhu one, right?
No.
You said they had powers in the Dishonored DLC, that it was like mystic powers.
Magic.
Did you lie to me?
I jokingly said that.
Yeah, but then I asked if you were serious, and you're like, well, there are powers.
We have no idea where they really come from, so who knows? Hopefully, part 2 will be announced soon. Other than that, just WildStar and back into Guild Wars.
Nice.
Now that Guild Wars 2
mean,
season 2 has started up.
Dave, I got the trial key again for WildStar, and I played it a little more in depth. I fell in love with its combat, and I subscribed. So now I'm playing WildStar. I made 2 characters so far.
Yep.
An Alliance bunny girl, a spellslinger.
Yep.
And a horde human warrior, also a woman, just a human woman. And there's something I gotta say. The Orin, the bunny people from on the Alliance
the
side.
hippies, yep.
Yeah, I like to call them Alliance, even though they're the exiles.
Uh-huh.
The women of the species, I think, were specifically constructed to give me the ragingest boner I've ever had.
That's where I thought that was going.
Like, when I was making my character, I think 4 of my body's 5 liters of blood were in my penis. Normally I don't like blatantly skinny-waisted, big-boobed girls in fiction or in reality. But combined with the bunny ears and the long tail and kind of the slender limbs and the wispy voices and big buggy, almost anime but not quite anime eyes and whatnot, and the various skin colors, which I made orange. The Orin female, this is the nerdiest thing to say, is super fucking hot. I have never wanted to fuck a fake MMO character in my life until I made this character. And I want to wreck her shit. I want to be like sitting like I'm doing right now, her hips right around here.
Okay, stop.
And both thrusting and pressing them down at the same time. Like, and the human female that I made on the Horde side, the Cassian, the Dominion Cassians, they're humans. I made her a little thicker hipped because I like all the ladies of all the shapes and sizes. And she is fucking hot as shit too. And I'm like, man, this game style, I really dig the style. I love the visuals of WildStar. And the women they made really stylistically hot without being blatant DOA fan service. I'm not sure how to describe it, but they are hot as shit. And yet they are kind of classy. They're kind of classy. I kind of like the way the females look in that game. On other aesthetics, when it comes to WildStar, that game's music is so good. I was cranking it up. I'm like, oh my god, I am humming along to this Exile ship tune so hard.
The game style is very well done. The actual world aesthetics, especially if you can actually turn it up to max, is just downright beautiful.
I can't on my computer. I have found the balance that gives me maximum prettiness for minimum resource investment, but until I build a new one, I can't turn things up to max.
I can, because I've got a damn good video card. But,
I know. I basically went and found the most processor-chugging things I didn't care about, like max anti-aliasing and max shadow quality.
Yeah.
And I turned them as far down as I was willing to take. And it still gives me a pretty game.
No, and anti-aliasing and shadows are a couple things that can be taken down, but
sure.
With them, especially if you can put the draw distance up to max, which I can, wow.
I got a little taste of WildStar's combat when I played in the beta, and playing both the Spellslinger and the Warrior now, I see why they did what they did. I love this combat system. I love how you don't have to target anything. It's all telegraphs. I might play a healer now that I don't have to target anyone. And I wish WoW would steal this, because there's already telegraphing in certain attacks in WoW already with a cursor appearing where the attack's going to fire, where you don't need to specifically target it.
WoW would need a very big revamp to do it.
How I would do it in WoW is I would take the limited action thing in WildStar, which I also like. give WoW characters a lot of abilities, including abilities you need to target and abilities that you would need telegraphing. And then from there, the player can choose. Maybe they're fine having a mix of both. Maybe they're fine being a target-only player, and maybe they're fine being a telegraph-only player. And that way you accommodate all styles. That's how I would do it if I could somehow convince Blizzard to listen to me.
I actually find it a little bit weird going back and forth now between Guild Wars 2 and WildStar.
Yeah, the combat's not quite the same, is it?
It's not quite the same, no. And I do like WildStars better, but even then, I still really enjoy Guild Wars 2, so...
I kind of wouldn't mind seeing WildStar's combat system in a single-player JRPG-style RPG.
Yeah.
Because normally I don't like when single-player games steal an MMO combat system, because MMO combat systems are usually shitty by design to make the game work. WildStars is legitimately fun to play with, while still being kind of pseudo-turn time-based. There's the real-time component, of course.
Yeah.
But it is really fun to just fight things. Like, yeah, a lot of the early questing is just go here, fight this, go here, fight that. But in WildStar, I wanted to. I wanted to go fight guys and test myself against higher-level guys and dodge out of their telegraphs and hit them right back, right? So, I know this is an MMO-ass MMO, and even though it's solo-friendly to a point, you're going to still need to group to do things, and maybe I'll get into PvP, or maybe I'll stop playing at that point. But for now, I bought it, and I got a subscription, and we'll see how long it lasts. Having a ton of fun with WildStar. I have also played through Shovel Knight 1.7 times. I went and finished the game, and now I'm most of the way through a New Game Plus run. Yeah. Shovel Knight is incredible, and I recommend it to everyone.
Have not touched it as of yet, but I will. It's on my list to pick up.
It mixes Mega Man with new and old Castlevania, with Zelda 2, with a little bit of Kirby. There's some element of your favorite NES game in this game somewhere, and it all works and meshes well together.
Okay.
My only complaint is that it's a tad too easy on its normal difficulty. Just a tad. There are still a lot of challenging segments. Just the fact that you can get a currency and upgrade your guy kind of diminishes it a little bit, but it's never grindy. Never grindy. So
that's important these days.
Also played a bit more into Revengeance, which I'm having a blast in. A little more of Demon Souls. I decided fuck shields. I put a rapier in my offhand, and I've just been stabbing guys who run up to me, and then clubbing them with my club. And I'm finding it a lot better than trying to block and parry, to be honest with you. I picked the Barbarian, which I would later learn is an advanced class, since they have, no equipment. But I did just find a great sword. And so far, it seems to be the weapon of choice. So
you do realize you can switch between sets.
I have the great sword on one set and the rapier/club combination in another. So plus that set, actually, I have the great sword and my shield on one set, so that in case I need to swap shield and club, I can do that. So far, having fun with Demon Souls. I think I'm liking it better as I play it more. I apologize for being a fucking bottomless fucking windbag and dominating this whole conversation. This is the part where you're supposed to say, no, it's fine, we've both been talking. And lie through your teeth to me so I feel better about myself.
No. Just a great big grin on my face for that one. Anything happening in the game market you want to talk about? Anything newsworthy that we care about?
Well, EVO is happening this weekend.
I said that we care about.
Yeah, I'm part of we. Shut up. So, we're recording this on Saturday, July, is it the 12th?
Yep.
And this will be out the following Wednesday. EVO is happening this weekend. I did not get a chance to travel to it this year. I'm in a position where I could have gone and afforded it. But I'm an adult now, as I have been for years. And I've been putting more of an emphasis on actually saving my money. So I decided to put EVO off until next year. Next year, though, is going to be when we have games like Guilty Gear Xrd, and Ultra Street Fighter 4 will have built its meta a little better. And Smash 4 will be either awesome or terrible, and if it's awesome, that'll be there. 2015's Evo.
And maybe Persona 4 Arena
2.
Ultimax will have made people grow the fuck up.
Agreed. 2015 Evo I'm looking forward to. I'm a little sad I couldn't go to this one because I wanted to go say hi to Mike Z again. Mike Z is the coolest fucking guy in the world. Play some Skullgirls. But you know what? Oh, and that's another thing. By this time next year, Beowulf will at the very least be in the game. So I'll get a chance to do that. Next year's Evo, I am going to. This year, not able to attend, unfortunately. However, from my understanding, because my plan was to not watch anything until the archives came up, and then I was going to watch select archives of it because I have a pretty busy weekend this weekend, not the least of which is hanging out with you.
You're very welcome.
Some high-level players have apparently been knocked into losers really early and eliminated entirely. So we'll see what goes there. I don't think there's anything in Evo you really care about, though. Except maybe for an announcement or two from ArcSys and maybe some other company.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I like watching high-level players play, Street Fighter 4 is not a game that I enjoy on any level. So hearing that new player or very high-level players have gotten kicked out, basically, been eliminated, doesn't surprise me, seeing as
it's new.
The new version of Street Fighter 4 just came out, a month ago?
This is a very good point. Very good point.
I did read a number of things about how certain things are broken.
There are so many bugs!
So, actually, in this case, I gotta call Evo out and say, what the fuck? The new version may be out, but it's not tournament worthy.
Well, Capcom is sponsoring them, so
Capcom gave them
that money.
They got a blowjob from Capcom, and therefore they've got to show the latest and greatest.
Some of these bugs are so bad. There's a whole Google Doc of them.
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck does this happen?
How does it get out past QA?
As a guy I wear many hats at my day job, and one of those hats is QA. And so, and you have done QA as well. Mm-hmm. How does this happen on the fourth or fifth major iteration of the same product? This doesn't happen. No. It's a disaster that Decapper falls out of Sagat's Ultra the way Cammy used to in the first vanilla Street Fighter. Sometimes the wrong music is playing during matches and shit. These are amateur level bugs.
That if you even had a small team of 3 or 4 QA people, they would catch this stuff.
Okay, I understand some things there's a bug in the game that lets you dash through characters during very specific conditions. That's the kind of thing QA doesn't know what to look for, okay? Fine. Decapper falling out of a cinematic when it's done in the corner? How did QA miss this? Capcom brags about their QA. They brag about how their internal QA players are better than any tournament player.
Bullshit.
Well, they're apparently really good, but the fact of the matter is that they brag, and this is the quality of material they put out.
No, it's completely unacceptable. And the fact that Capcom keeps on doing this is laughable. But yet everybody still just fucking goes down on them.
Look, there's some things about Ultra Street Fighter 4 I like. I dislike it on a fundamental level. I still derive enjoyment from playing it. And there's a lot of problems from a technical level, it's fucking execution fetishism and whatnot, and fine and dandy, but Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition 2012, that is a long title, had a lot of polish, and since Ultra builds off of that, I expect a certain level of polish based off that as well, right? And since this game has been out in Japanese arcades too, it's unacceptable. It is unacceptable for Capcom to be releasing this when there are very few bugs in Shovel Knight.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's noise. Speaking of Capcom and Shovel Knight, have you seen the new Mighty No. 9 gameplay videos and stuff?
A little bit.
This game needs to come out already.
I lost some respect for him recently.
Is it the second money grab?
Yeah.
Here to explain why he does not like the second money grab is Daniel Hochman.
It shouldn't happen. Period. The fact that they're doing a second fucking Kickstarter, or Indigo, whichever one, to try and fund voice acting in the game and the potential kickoff of a anime series.
An animated series.
Is
it really a Japanese company doing it?
I don't know. But it's more of a pilot episode.
Sure.
Is, I think, just downright stupid. I mean, do you have enough money to do the game or not? And if you don't, where has all the money that we gave you in the first place gone? And why is voice acting now
It's English voice acting that's on this list. I don't think they ever gave us English voice acting as a promise before.
Well, why was there just Japanese voice acting?
Because in the grand scheme of things, I like English voice acting. I'm a dub guy. But in the grand scheme of things, that's not even Japanese voice acting is as important as making this game super polished and awesome.
Like, I followed the initial campaign, and I put in a bunch of money into it. And in none of those design documents that he put out did he mention voice acting of any style, English or Japanese. So, looking back even now, I'm thinking, well, where was voice acting? Why wasn't it a thought back then?
Sure.
Now I'm going to have to verify whether there is Japanese voice acting only now, and now we're kickstarting a English voice acting, because in my mind, that's even worse.
It's not another Kickstarter campaign. It's a PayPal campaign that is not going to affect the release of the game whether or not it succeeds, and it's for bonuses. And one of the bonuses is English voice acting. One of the bonuses is to get this animated pilot off the ground. And another bonus is like some other secondary piece of paraphernalia that involves Mighty Number 9. On one hand, hey man, if people are willing to pay, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with crowdfunding because it gives us the normal slum dwellers what used to be the domain of the rich and powerful before. On the other hand, Mike Z has repeatedly said he is not going to do another Kickstarter to fund another Indiegogo campaign to fund what the first one was supposed to do, even though they're pretty much out of money and that the expenses were more than they anticipated. And I also respect that, despite me kind of wanting him to start another campaign that I would readily donate to. I kind of wish Skullgirls just had a donate button on its site, and because I do donate to causes I believe in. I donate to anti-cancer things all the time because I had it and I kind of want the disease eradicated. So I would donate a little bit here and there to Skullgirls to see it succeed.
When Skullgirls comes to PS4, I will buy it.
Me too.
I was actually kind of disgusted when I was reading comments on the announcement for the PS4 version of people are already saying, well, it better be cross-buy with my PS3 or Vita. Or I don't think it ever came out for the Vita now I think about it.
It's going to. The Vita's on the list
right.
now.
But it better be cross-buy with my PS3 copy that I got for free. And I'm just like, no. No, it won't be. And no, it shouldn't be.
And here's the thing, it probably will be anyway. They will probably go out of their way to make sure it is, because that's what Lab Zero does. They kick ass.
I'm hoping this time that they say, okay, the PS3 version wasn't standalone. We gave it for free, for fuck's sakes. If you buy the PS4 version, yes, you then get the Vita version. But unless you buy one of those two versions, no, we're not giving it to you for free because we gave you the PS3 version for free.
The PS3 version was free? Oh, you mean on PS Plus,
PS
right?
Plus.
PSN, okay. Yeah, people, look, they're not asking a lot of money, and a lot of you probably spent more of it on dinner.
Yeah.
Now, I get that food is more important, but let me make another comparison. You've probably spent double or triple the amount on a game that wasn't worth it.
Or, you probably you could save yourself 2 coffees from Starbucks and buy the game.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Although Starbucks coffee isn't quite that expensive.
$6, $7.
The regular ass coffee is like $2, even here.
I can't think the last time I saw regular coffee at Starbucks.
You can get regular coffee.
Okay.
Regular coffee start like a small, which they call tall, regular ass coffee is like $2.
Okay.
Even here in Canada.
I've never seen anybody order it.
Oh no, everyone wants the flavored coffee.
Yeah.
That's where they nail you.
Exactly.
And second cup as well, because the caramel Correttos are just way too tasty. I agree with you. I will buy the PS4 version, which will get you the Vita version more than likely. I think it's super smart that they're putting it on Vita, because with the PlayStation Vita TV, that means Skullgirls tournament organizers and players have a super portable way to make the game available at tournaments.
Yeah.
They can just pack up their Vita TV and go.
Yeah.
How many USB ports does the Vita TV have? Do they have any?
I don't know.
You know what? Let's look that up later.
Things that are happening that I don't like, much like the additional stuff for
Mighty Number 9.
is two things. Number one, GameStop / EB Games getting involved in early design of games to lock off content to only EB Games / GameStop purchases.
You're going to have to fill me in on that, because I was not aware of this. Also, what?
So, I think it was 3 or 4 days ago, there was an article came out that GameStop management was now reaching out and talking to game developers to be involved in the early design of games so that they could lock off chunks of content to only those who buy from GameStop. The look on your face says everything. It's bullshit. We've got to kill this now.
If there are any game developers listening to this, I'm not delusional. I don't think there are any listening to this. Except a few people on Fantasy Strike, maybe. Let me just tell you this right now. I know you got a family to feed. I know you got a family to feed. I got a family to feed! I know you got a family to feed, okay? Okay. But I am within my rights to, if you go with this program, I'm not buying your shit anymore. Plain and simple.
I mean, right now, we are in the middle, and we are losing the battle against pre-order DLC as it is. Right now, on some games, there are like 8 or 9 different pre-order DLC additions to certain games, depending on who you buy it from. Best Buy, EB Games, Future Shop, Walmart. And they're all different. They're weapon skins. They're little timed DLC additions, levels.
And I still hate those.
And those are nonsense in the first place.
And now we're going to make it worse.
And
now you want to go to level 5B? You better buy your game from GameStop.
Exactly. And no. Fuck no.
Fuck no. That is not cool. However...
No, there is no fucking howevers.
However... Let's be real with ourselves. Let's be honest, GameStop is going to reach out to big name ass already rich companies.
So EA.
Yeah, they're going to reach out to EA. They're going to reach out to Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. They all better say no.
EA won't. Guaranteed.
EA will take it.
EA will be like, you want to make it that you can only get toddlers and swimming pools from buying the game through GameStop? Sold.
Yeah, the EA will do it.
And that shit won't be timed exclusive.
No.
They'll try and make it exclusive, period.
Agreed. They are going to reach out to the richest of the rich already. If this was something they enticed indie devs with who already struggle to make money, despite me hating this,
no,
I'm not sure how mad I can be about it when they're already a struggling sect of game designers.
No.
And you know what? I don't blame you. I'm just saying.
Here's my reasoning.
I'll hear yours in a second. I don't blame you. I'm simply telling you how I feel about it.
Fair enough. If as an indie developer you are struggling so bad that you need to lock off content to a single company to sell, number one, you've failed. You've failed in your design process. You've failed in your development process. Die, basically. Stop the game, or find a developer who will go with Microsoft for an exclusive, go with Sony for an exclusive. No. Do not do this publisher exclusive nonsense. It's
Retailer exclusive.
retailer exclusive nonsense.
Which is already kind of done.
With the exception of most of the time it's like an extra, it's not even an extra level. Look at the Batman games. You got access to a trial level that was exclusive to the Xbox or PSN. Annoying, yes, but it's not a core part of the game. It's not like me saying that unless you buy it from GameStop, you don't get to drive the Batmobile.
There's a big difference, though, between platform exclusivity, where everyone on that platform can get access to it, and retailer exclusivity. And now that I think about it, this is not really all that different, albeit more evil, than buy your game from Best Buy and get access to Mechanic Baird, which is what I needed to do. Actually, sometimes guest on the show, Kiki, went to Best Buy and basically sweet-talked them into giving me a Mechanic Baird code, which is the only place you can get them, was Best Buy. Now, that is already fucking evil, despite Mechanic Baird being functionally completely the same as any other character.
So I don't care.
It's a skin, but it's still... Where does it end? It's a skin, an exclusive character, an exclusive level, half the game. And ironically, if you could only buy the whole game from one retailer, that would be significantly less evil because you're still getting the whole game. It's just that you have to get it from a certain shop.
See, I've never cared about a skin for a weapon or skin for a character, that sort of thing, because that is, again, cosmetic. Cosmetics, I don't care about. We're talking core functionality. It's like saying that you have to buy it from GameStop or else you don't get the Batarang. Batman cannot use the Batarang unless you bought it from GameStop.
So what do you feel about needing to pre-order from certain shops in Diablo 3 to get access to that shoulder plate for Reaper of Souls console? That shoulder plate that gives you extra experience and arguably is useful at all levels of the game. That is pretty evil still. I hadn't
heard about it, but frankly...
The Pauldrons of Ruin or whatever they're called.
Quite frankly, I gain a little bit of experience. I truthfully don't care.
I get where you're coming from. There's different severities, and there's a difference between cosmetic upgrades to minor, mostly cosmetic, partly gameplay affecting, but not really the best in slot choice anyway, to something you really do want to order from a specific shop from or you're missing a part of the game.
You can't use the wizard unless you buy from GameStop.
And you know what? You are correct. There are different levels of severity, and we as consumers need to hold both these retailers and these publishers and developers and to task and say we will not accept core functionality of games being locked off to retailers like that. If you want to do that, have an exclusivity deal with a retailer where they're the only ones who sell the game and they sell the full thing and you just buy it there and bam, you're done. That said, we need to vote with our money. And people are notoriously bad for voting with their money. And I'm no different because FIFA's evil and I am watching the World Cup like you wouldn't believe. So I am supporting an evil corporation. So I'm not sure how much I can get pissed at the tendencies of the masses.
The other thing that I really don't like is, let's talk pre-orders.
Sure.
Why did pre-orders start?
So that you could guarantee yourself a copy of a game.
In the digital era that we're in, pre-orders.
There's no good reason for a digital pre-order other than to give you a bonus, like the character boosted from Warlords of Draenor.
I'm really starting to hate pre-orders from companies as well, and I'm nailing GameStop on this one pretty bad. Mainly because they'll give you anything as a pre-order bonus to get you to buy the game. And devs are feeding into this like crazy.
Devs or publishers? We do need to make that distinction.
Sometimes it's one and the same.
I attribute most of the evil of this to publishers. Despite publishers, gaming publishers, having a hard lot already. Respect to publishers for all you do. But if this evil is going to be perpetuated by a group, it's going to be the publishers before it's the devs.
In this specific case, I'm going to call out Sega.
Sega! Is this something to do with their Alien game?
Got it.
Sega!
Sega is now, unless you pre-order their new Alien game, you will not get the additional couple missions, which is being voice acted by the original cast of the Alien movie. That
is retarded for so many reasons. Sorry, I interrupted. Please continue your...
It's okay, because that. When I read that, I'm like, you cocksuckers. Not only are you... Like, there's a lot of hesitation by people over this new Alien game. A lot of people have said outright, I'm not pre-ordering this game because you guys fucked us with the last one. And no matter what sort of fixes they did, that game never got anywhere near what they showed off at E3.
Sure, like, the other issue is, why would they cordon off such a great bonus? That will sell them so many units, and it's going to be a pre-order only thing?
But
Are they retarded?
That's just it, though.
Do they not like money?
That's just it. Pre-orders is a guaranteed money sink.
So is buying the game after the fact. Get an awesome scene from the original actors from fucking Alien.
Yep.
One of the defining movies of our fucking generation. And you're making it not available even for cash. Like I said, does Sega just not like money? Who owns Alien? Is it Fox? Do they just not like money? This is why this is stupid. This is not only stupid from an ideological standpoint, this is stupid from a logical standpoint too. Why would you do this? You could be way greedier by not doing that. You could make a lot more coin by not doing that. It is so... I have so much umbrage over the stupidity here.
But in this case, I get from a business standpoint why they would do this. Because if I hook, you're not sure the game, but I'm going to say, hey, pre-order my game. I'll give you access after the game is over to 2 stages from the original Alien movie, voice acted by the original cast. Pre-order my game. All of a sudden you're like, wait, the original cast is voice acting a couple stages from the actual movie? I've got to have this game now. You have now just tugged on their wallet, tugged on their heartstrings, and you've now just forgotten about the original game. You're now basically saying, oh, well, you fucked me on the last game, but the original Alien cast, I've got to pre-order this to get it? Here's my money. You've now got them. They're now going to buy it day one before the reviews are out. And if it sucks, you're still fucked. But they made money.
Good point. You make a good point. However, I would argue that you could still do both then. Make it a pre-order where that you get that content first, and then the content over time becomes gettable as DLC.
And maybe that will happen because there's a very large outcry over the fact that people have to pre-order the game to have access to this. There was a petition and everything else. So knowing Sega, I think they'll buckle and say, well, okay, we'll let you buy it after the fact, but not for X amount of months. But it's tactics like this that let them still make money on very piss-poor games. Because you're going to pre-order it for that little shiny thing. Oh my god, I'm getting a blue sword. Or I'm getting that little shiny art shoulder thing that gives me a little bit of extra experience. oh, it gave me 1 extra experience per kill? Well, that wasn't so great.
Hey, can I just say, off the record, and I'll delete this, I like this enthusiasm you show. I like this. You are behind this 100%. This is the kind of Dave I like to hear on Two Fat Guys Talk Games. Please continue.
I get passionate about certain topics.
Be passionate. Passionate Dave is more exciting than kind of indifferent Dave. Those are your two halves. Passionate Dave and hideously evil Dave.
Yes!
Okay.
No, it's... You can leave that in. It's this sort of backhanded tactics to get you to buy from one developer or another that has really begun to piss me off, especially seeing as I'm getting more and more out of buying limited editions, collectors, everything else. Especially before a review comes out.
You know, I don't trust government. I'm pretty anti-government.
No, really?
I'm not a libertarian. I just distrust government, corporations, and the rich. Even though the moment I become one of the rich, I'm going to act just like them to retain my wealth and be a total hypocrite. Because fuck the peasants. Even though I don't trust governments at all, do we need legislation here? Do we need legislation to say no? Not specifically in the terms of games, but something about electronic goods and exclusivity, where exclusivity can never tie one to a specific retailer, and the reason a law would be made for this is to prevent monopolizing a certain market. Legislation that says any content that is made available to incentivize purchasing from one retailer must eventually be made available to all owners of the product. Because the reason I worded it that way is because I'm not talking about just a law for games because we're pissed off about some aspect of gaming. I'm talking about a law for all digital goods and electronic goods. This includes digital films with extra behind the scenes like featurettes and stuff. This includes, because we are rapidly approaching, we already live in the future, and we're approaching the far future where we're all going to be digital and have agumons as pets, right? So, I mean, maybe it's time for legislation here.
I don't think legislation's the right thing, though, again, vote with your wallets. The best example I can think of that in film, specifically, is when the last Star Trek movie came out. The extras were cut up between different retailers. And you could not get a complete set of all the behind-the-scenes featurettes unless you bought 3 different copies from different retailers.
Okay, then I'm going to double down and say now we definitely need legislation for this. Because, again, this is a digital goods concern. And this is just going to let already rich companies take more of our money that they don't need. So I think they're...
I don't think legislation is the right thing, but we as purchasers,
there's only so much
have to say enough is enough.
There's only so much we can do. And part of what we can do is petition governments. And this is in the US and Canada and anywhere where these goods are sold, petition governments to make laws. While Canada's wasting its time on a useless anti-spam law and wasting its time on a very offensive anti-prostitution law, they could be making a law such as this that is actually useful, will help the common Canadian, and will allow us a little more control on shit we've bought. And in the States, it should be no different. Instead of the stupid Digital Millennium Copyright Act that lets companies sue normal people for everything they're worth, maybe there should be an act like this that gives us some power to say, hey, you want to do an exclusive rights thing to entice us to go buy something somewhere? Fine. But the law says after how many months that needs to become available to everyone, whether it's to be purchased or for free. So stop being grimy. You can be partially grimy. You can't be completely grimy here. I think this needs to be baked into law. Now I'm all behind this after you told me what you just told me about Star Trek. So congratulations, you've convinced me.
I don't quite agree with it, mainly because The moment government gets their hands on it, they're just going to get more into the hands of the media companies, and it's not going to turn out good for us.
Well, the media companies would already oppose such a law anyway. The big-ass media companies will petition more and more for government to have more, for government to crack down on people who do things like share a fucking file. That's why it's retarded in the States for if you're trying to, like, you know, invite 7 people to your house to watch a movie, you're technically breaking the law because apparently what's on that disc isn't yours even though you bought it.
Mm-hmm.
Or what you've downloaded on an online video service isn't yours even though you bought it.
Well, Microsoft tried to feed into that.
Yes, they did, with stupid Kinect spying on you and shit.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, and even here in Canada, with our government trying to strike down a lot of the, what's it called? When a court has done something and another case, they're trying to strike down the various precedents that let us share our shit that we've bought, and they're trying to strike this down because big-ass companies want to make money. This isn't helping the developers or the artists or the people who make this shit happen. The writers, the programmers, the directors, even the actors who are rich as shit, but they actually do something to earn that money. This is all just to protect distributors. This is all just to protect people who make a lot of money on other people's hard work. And, I think we gotta demand laws that favor us for a fucking change.
Agreed.
Sorry, I got real angry at the end there.
No more than I did.
Yeah.
Anything else that's come across the pipe?
I can't think of too much.
We are in summer, so there's while there is still news happening, granted everything else, there's not many games coming out, there's just not much going on right now, really.
Yeah,
that we care about.
We saw How to Train Your Dragon 2. Great.
Awesome movie.
The middle of it will wrench your heart. I recently listened to a Doug Loves Movies podcast where Eli Roth, who made such family-friendly fare as Hostel, said that movie tore his heart out, and he had to go watch horror movies just to get himself back to some semblance of normalcy. That should tell you how emotional How to Train Your Dragon 2 is. Highly recommended. Yes, it's summer, so nothing's happening, but regardless, I had a good time. I think we should do more of these what-if scenarios to start shit off, because I think it gets our creative juices flowing. Next time, I'm probably going to ask you how you would do a new Captain N.
Sounds good.
So be aware of that. Get ready.
Okay.
I'm already prepping my arguments in my mind.
Fair enough.
You have been Dave.
And you've been Carlos.
And this is Two Fat Guys Talk Games, episode 52.
So, if you've liked what you heard, you want to leave us some feedback, you want to give us some criticism, whatever, our podcast site is tfgtg.blogspot.com, where you can also find the feed link and our YouTube channel.
You can also find us on Twitter at TFGTG. Yeah. There's no way to continue that. So
There's no way to continue that sentence.
Please leave us some feedback. We accept good and bad. We will usually respond, seeing as we have such a small group.
We do have thousands of millions of followers, so we might not respond to you right away.
Sure, let's go with that.